It is with great pleasure that I have this opportunity to illuminate for my teammate, friend, and in this instant, misguided debate opponent, Captain Aubrey, the reality of our ineffective international legal system. I'll begin by affirming my agreement with much of what has been said. I agree wholeheartedly in the need for a strong and effective international legal system, the importance of being able to hold accountable perpetrators of heinous crimes, and certainly the need to meet the evolving demands placed on that system by the ever-growing complexity of the international community. Yet, and this is the key to the rebuttal, simply requiring an effective system, or let's actually take it even one step further and say designing an effective system, does not an effective system make. The good captain goes on to cite Webster's definition of effective as producing or being capable of producing a desired effect. I'll address the producing of a desired effect in a moment, but first I'd like to challenge the notion of whether or not simply being capable of something is sufficient to declare success. I don't believe it does, and furthermore, such weak criteria can only lead to complacency and substandard results over time. And that's one of my fears of the current international legal system. However, let me get back to the facts of what is actually being produced. Yes, well, I'm sure we can all agree that the recent International Criminal Court's conviction of Radovan Karadzic was a significant achievement. Unfortunately, it's an anomaly. The ICC, which stems from the 2002 ratification of the Rome Statute and currently operates on a budget of approximately $200 million annually, has in its 14-year existence heard a total of 23 cases, resulting in only 3 convictions. So yes, while these 3 convictions are important, I'm reminded of the adage that even a broken clock is right some of the time. The reality is that for every Karadzic, there are countless instances of gross atrocities perpetrated around the globe regularly. To provide context, just last month, Syrian refugees were fired upon by Turkish President Erdogan's national forces. In Ghouta, Syria, August 2013, Syrian citizens were gassed by their own state forces. And in 2014, Russia, under orders of President Putin, invaded and annexed territories belonging to sovereign Ukraine. So let's reflect for a moment on these 4 distinct situations. Only one of them has witnessed any degree of accountability. So let's look at the distinguishing features of the 4. On one hand, we have Karadzic, the former president of a now non-existent state, who was attempting to live out his life as a village doctor. On the other hand, we have the UN-membered, state-protected, and powerful Putin, al-Assad, and Erdogan. Obviously what we have here is a system without the necessary teeth to hold accountable the strong and the mighty. An example closer to home is the United States' use of torture tactics, clearly banned by the Third Geneva Convention of 1949, which incidentally the USA is signatory to. The USA's refusal to abide by the terms of the treaty is yet another example of a state picking and choosing which and what elements of international treaties they will choose to honor. This is clear evidence that unfortunately our current system is inconsistent in its use and application. This is well illustrated by the notion of private domestic laws, wherein one state can determine whether or not its laws are compatible with universal laws. Further highlighted by the reality of what transpires when extradition is requested, and a state's response to the confines of international law simply becomes an exercise in political discretion. This is well evidenced as the British House of Lords debated whether or not to honor a request from Spain for the extradition of Chile's former President Pinochet pursuant to his regime's crimes against Spanish nationals. Without clearly defined jurisprudence, authority, or accountability, the decision on whether or not to extradite worked its way through the British legal system for a full 16 months. I dare say this cannot be considered an effective system. Regardless of the merits of codification, as my opponent has touted, the system as it stands lacks the teeth necessary to hold all parties consistently accountable. Unfortunately, many of the restraints cited in claiming efficacy of the international legal system are for the most part aspirational. To be able to accurately argue that we have an effective international legal system, will first require the goals of the system be achieved in a consistent and sustainable manner. To cite Emmanuel Jouanet, 2007, another type of society is emerging, one that combines both the greatness and the poverty of international law, as it still legitimates imbalances of power and wealth in favor of a small number of hegemonic actors, but at the same time providing the site for a potential evolution. So let's circle back to Webster. We are now touching upon the potential to achieve. The current system stems from a laudable objective and one that is deserving of perseverance. I look forward to the day when we can wholeheartedly claim to have an effective system. Unfortunately, that day has not yet arrived. In conclusion, to paraphrase or rephrase the quote, "Capitalism is not perfect, but it's the best system we have," I suggest our current international legal system may be the best we have, but it is nowhere close to being perfect. Thank you.